It's Tuesday, June 2nd, and I'm David Song, currency analyst with Daily FX. And a lot of things to watch over the next 24 hours of trade, as we do have the European Central Bank holding their policy meeting. And again, we'll see if we get any new language from the central bank there. At the same time, some key U.S. data to watch, namely the ADP employment report along with the ISM non-manufacturing survey. We'll see how these data prints will shape NFP expectations ahead of the key data print on Friday. But again, we got some interesting language from some Fed officials today, namely from Fed Governor Ms. Lael Brainard, arguing again that maybe the advance in the dollar here, the appreciation in the exchange rate, may spur a further delay in the Fed's normalization cycle, but at the same time, a little bit of a cautious tone on the economy. And again, looks as though she favors more of a wait-and-see approach, given that it seems as though some of the weakness in the first quarter could be carrying on into the second half of the year as well. So we'll continue to watch some of the key data prints. But again, a near-term look at price action right now. Euro dollar breaking the near-term range, clearing some key targets here. We largely broke back above this 618 retracement, 111.20 zone. We'll see if we get a nice closing price above that region to favor some of the bigger topside targets here. And of course, could bring up the 786 retrace right around that 113 handle. But again, with the ECB interest rate decision tomorrow, stay nimble going to that key event risk. And again, looking at retail market position here based on the Daily FX Speculative Sentiment Index. The reading, again, could be approaching some near-term extremes here. Again, we have seen a bit of a narrowing in the ratio here over the last few days, but right now, as it works its way back towards this -2 region here, we'll see again if we get some extremes reading in retail positioning once we get through some of the key event risks tomorrow. But my personal expectation from the ECB, not sure if we're going to get much, as the central bank is widely expected to retain its current policy, but I think the big hurdle here for President Mr. Mario Draghi is really convincing market players that they will ultimately stick to their easing cycle and that they will carry on the QE program until at least September of 2016, despite some of the improved data coming out of the region. So again, we'll see whether or not we get some more clarity on the policy outlook from where we stand. But for now, again, we'll be watching some near-term price levels, watch some closing prices as, again, we come up back against former support zones, and we'll see if we get a further advance in the days ahead. The British pound also showing a meaningful break today of this very clean downward trending channel that's larger materialized coming into June. But again, looks as though near-term support, we'll watch that 5180, 5190 zone, especially on a closed basis, the 50% retrace from where we stand. But again, as we break out of this near-term downward trending channel, could bring us some of the topside targets back into play. If we're able to close back above this 5330 zone, 5340 zone, the 38.2 could bring back some of the topside targets back into play. Former support here, again, 5460, 5450 zone. We'll keep that on the radar here, but of course, the BOE, we also have them on tap this week. Not expecting much, as again, the central bank there largely retaining this wait-and-see approach. So again, not sure if we're going to see a meaningful reaction to that. May see a limited market reaction should we see the central bank refrain from releasing a policy statement. So on the backdrop of that, we'll be watching some US data, UK data going into the end of the week. But again, with the US dollar here, looks as though we could be a little bit vulnerable for a further decline. Again, we'll keep a very close eye on the string of higher lows that we set coming into June. But for now, the lack of momentum to retain the trend line here, we'll see if we get a further break to the downside tomorrow. But also with that, the RSI large turning over just ahead of overbought territory. Could be a signal we get a near-term pullback. But of course, with some of the recent concerns coming out of the Federal Reserve, we'll see how the data prints will fare. And we'll see whether or not they'll be able to meet Fed expectations, again, highlighting a stronger recovery for the second quarter, also for the remainder of the year. But until then, again, we'll be data dependent. We'll continue to watch some of the bigger, larger themes that are in play, and of course, some of these interesting headlines that are coming out across the globe. But with that said, stay nimble as we continue to carve out the monthly opening range for June, and we still have some key event risks on tap. But with that said, guys, have a great day, and of course, best of luck on all your trades.